Welcome back to 15 Let's Talk Game Week 15 review show. We are going to talk about all the games that happened all over the weekend, as we saw Aston Villa humbling Arsenal at the Villa Park and closing the gap to 3 points on top of the table. Manchester City welcomed Sunderland at the Etihad Stadium and also made sure that they had to close the gap to 2 points on top of the table. Whereas Liverpool and Chelsea dropped points again. Let's go! Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 1. Arsenal suffered their second defeat in the league after going unbeaten in 18 games in all competition. On the other hand, Aston Villa extended their unbeaten run to 9 games and also made sure they closed the gap to 3 points. You understand? On top of the table. Aston Villa came in this game, this game was going to be a very tough game, as we mentioned in our preview show that if Arsenal won this game, they were going to extend their lead to 9 points away from Aston Villa. But if Aston Villa won, they're going to close the gap to 3 points. Yeah. So in their last 5 games, they have won 2 games, they have drawn 2 games, and they have lost 1, which means they have collected out of the possible 15 points, they have only collected 8 points and also dropping 7 points, which has put them in the very difficult position right now. And the defeat against Villa showed how Arsenal are missing Gabriel and Saliba. You understand? We saw like their defense was good, but they conceded a lot of chances against Aston Villa. They think that doesn't happen every day if Gabriel and Saliba are playing. And right now, I think Arsenal have a curse of injuries. You understand? If we go back and see last season, when they were in the title challenge with Liverpool, in January, all their front line got injured. And the curse has struck again. This time around, all their defenders have got injured. You understand? All their centre-backs. And they don't get injured like one goes, but all of them go at once right now. Right now, Arsenal are going to play. Their next game is against Wolves, but they have only 4 senior defenders, whereby we saw Calafiori getting a yellow card in the Aston Villa game and he was suspended, which means they are going to go in the Villa game. In the Wolves game with only 4 senior defenders, Timber, Hincapi, Lewis Kelly, and Benjamin White. You understand? Previous show we talked about the Emery effect. Emery, since he left Arsenal, he has been giving Arsenal a lot of hard time. We saw it in Europa against Villarreal, whereby Arsenal, we thought that season Arsenal will win something, but Emery made sure that when he beat Arsenal at the Emirates 1-0, when Arsenal visited Villarreal, they needed to win that game, maybe 2-0, but Emery made sure that he defended really well and Arsenal dropped points. And in 2023-2024 season, where Arsenal had to go on top of the table after Liverpool dropping points against Crystal Palace, Emery made sure that he beat also Arsenal in that game. But the difference in that game and today and this weekend's game is like the fault is for Mikel Arteta. If it's not broken, don't fix it, and Arteta always does that every time. Against that game when Aston Villa versus Arsenal, where Arsenal dropped points, he dropped Havertz back in the midfield, then he started Jesus, and we saw it again against Aston Villa, whereby he brought back Odegaard in the game. You understand? And moved as a outside, so which means it destroyed the system. City versus Sunderland. City made sure that they closed the gap to 2 points as they saw Arsenal dropping points earlier against Aston Villa in the early kickoff game. So they faced Sunderland when they have one thing on mind: we have to win this game, and they did so by humbling them 3-0 at the Etihad Stadium. It was a one-sided game, as we saw City dominated everything in that game. And some of the talking points in this game, we are going to talk about Ryan Cherki. You understand? He's a 30 million bargain. Right now, he's picking momentum with that rabona assist. He was everywhere in this game against Sunderland. Let's talk about Foden. We have been talking about Foden on this channel in the past 3 games. You understand? And we said we thought like Man City this season they have been relying a lot on Haaland, but now Foden he picked up. He has now scored. In his last 2 games, he had already scored 4 goals. coming into this game, and in this game we saw him again on the score sheet. With also an assist, which means he had a 2GA contribution in this game against Sunderland. You understand? So right now, City are worrying. So every team has to get worried, because right now we are seeing like City, all their players have started to pick momentum. Cherki is picking, Foden has picked, Haaland is already on form. You understand? Though in this game also he did not score, but he was there. You understand his presence and everything, what he did off the ball. But right now we are focusing on Foden. He has picked up right now, and let's see what's going to happen, because if Man City change gears like this, everyone has to get worried. Bournemouth versus Chelsea. Chelsea drop points again as they travel to face the Cherries, who have also been struggling in their past 5 games. They have not had any win. They have been struggling, and we thought like Chelsea, since back of their last game where they dropped point against Leeds, in my opinion, I thought that they need to bounce back to their winning ways against the struggling Bournemouth. But Bournemouth also had other plans whereby they also needed to get some points here and there, and the game ended in a draw. This game we have talked about Robert Sanchez. Robert Sanchez made many saves in this game to keep Chelsea in the game. Maybe without Robert Sanchez, or if Robert Sanchez wasn't on form in this game against Bournemouth, maybe Chelsea would have dropped 3 points again. And we saw Cole Palmer having his first Chelsea start in a very, very long time, but he never had any impact since he's coming back from injury. Maybe after 2 to 3 games, maybe he'll be back to his best. Leeds versus Liverpool. This was a cinematic match as Liverpool botted the lead twice, as Leeds was coming back from behind 2 times to make sure that the game ends in a draw. In our previous show, we mentioned about the confidence Leeds will come with in this game after they humbled Chelsea, you understand? And also their previous game we saw against Manchester City, the game ended 3. The game ended 3-2, and we saw against Aston Villa, the game ended 2-1. Then against Chelsea, they beat Chelsea 3-0. You understand? So they came in this game with a lot of confidence, and their games, all they have been scoring. You understand? So against Liverpool, they came with that confidence, and we talked about it, and they got the points that they needed. We talked about Liverpool dominating this fixture for a very long time. Yes, Liverpool dominated this fixture. In the first half, the game was quiet. In the second half, it opened up real quick, as we saw Cherki scoring 2 goals in 2 minutes, whereby Leeds defenders, the first goal was sleeping. They made a mistake. Cherki scored. Then Leeds came back 2-2. Boom, Szoboszlai thought he had won it for Liverpool. Few moments later, 90+6, Tanaka also scored for Leeds. The game ended 3-3. And we also talked about Liverpool defense fragility. You understand? We saw again Konate on the crime scene, as Slots mentioned in his interview. He said Konate has been on the crime scene so many times this season, making mistakes after mistakes. He's injury prone. And then the big news in this game was about Mohamed Salah, who was dropped for the 3rd time. In our previous show, we mentioned, is Mohamed Salah going to be dropped for the 3rd time? And Arne Slot proved that's right. He dropped him again on bench, and he was also unused sub. Then he came out with that interview that he made and said, and someone wants me out of the club, blah, blah. They have thrown me under the bus, my relationship and the manager is no more. You understand? So let me, and he said like, my last game may be against Brighton, whereby in his interviews he called his mother and father to be there. And rumors came out yesterday when they said maybe Salah will be left out of the Inter game in Champions League. Let's wait and see what's going to happen in the Champions League. Is he going to be on the lineup, or is he going to be left out? And maybe even against Brighton he may be left out and doesn't play. You see, on the other point, Salah is right in some way or the other, because we have been talking about Liverpool's problems here every week, as Arne Slot changes lineup every week in, week out. And the thing I want to talk about is Joe Gomez. You understand? We have seen Szoboszlai playing right back whereby Joe Gomez was there, and Joe Gomez was fit, but when Slot used to play, suppose like right back. Ibrahim Konate has been also playing, making mistakes after mistake after mistake, but Joe Gomez has been there, not being dropped. Ibrahim Konate has not been dropped, even though we know Leon got injured, blah blah, those injury problems for Liverpool, and them not signing many centre backs in the window. It's one of the things that have affected them. Gapco also has not been performing, but he's not being dropped like. So if you view in the Salah's point of view, yeah, he has not had a good start this season, even though he has like 3 goals to 4 goals, but it has been a slow start for him. But right now, as you see, Liverpool, most of the people have been, apart from Eketike and suppose like most of the players in Liverpool, they have been struggling. You understand? So Ancelotti had to do better by managing the team, and